If you don't know what art fight is, check the video linked in the description or in the pinned comment.
So I've been on art fight since 2016 and fought 5 out of 6 years.
I've learned a lot about art fight and drawing in general over those 5 to 6 years, so I split this video into 2 sections. One is how to have a fun and fulfilling art fight, and the other one is general art tips.
If you want to skip ahead, the timestamps are in the description. I apologize for the shitty mic quality. If it sounds like it was recorded in a tin can car on a hot summer day, it was. I don't have any water.
Begin.
Don't expect attacks or revenges from other people. Yes, the premise of art fight is to give and get art, but it's not fulfilling to pour hours into a piece expecting a return only to get none. And trust me, that happens a lot. I personally have 98 attacks and 49 defenses as of writing this. That's, 2 attacks for every 1 defense? Hey, that's actually a pretty good ratio. Plenty of people have a 4-to-1 attack to defense ratio, meaning for every 4 art attacks they give, they get 1 attack back.
Draw to satisfy yourself and not to get free art from strangers on the internet. If your satisfaction comes from gifting art to others, that's great. If it comes from drawing itself, even better.
I personally like to set improvement or output goals related to my life outside of art fight. Last year was animatic practice. This year is style, anatomy, and comic practice. 2018 was speed. Be conservative and brutally honest with your promises. If this is your first art fight, start without a revenge policy or one that gives you leeway for not revenging. This is because you might not get back to every attack within a given year, even if you are very prolific. You know, major life events happen, you get burnt out, you have mood changes, etc. Things happen and you want to give yourself a buffer zone just in case, so you don't feel like you're forced to carry on until the very last minute. If you're going to be busy soon, give a heads up wherever you put your revenge policy. If you're feeling down, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm in a slump and may not get back to every attack. I appreciate every attack regardless. Draw what's best for the piece. If your revenge policy, spoken or unspoken, is to match effort for effort, try not to stick to it too strictly. If a piece works better as a half body and you received a full body, then compromise and draw 2 half bodies. If you received an uncolored sketch but really want to draw a painting, go for it. Don't let your art pieces suffer for your pride. After all, both you and your recipients will be happier with higher quality art. Especially you if you plan to draw portfolio pieces, you know? Slightly unrelated tangent time. This was something I realized after both receiving and giving full bodies that were not necessarily as good as a half body could have been. I know that a lot of art fight is practice, right? And revenging someone with a full body as practice is totally good. And if you want to do that, that's good for you. But if it's just a standard revenge and you have no other ulterior motives and you think it would work better as a half body because your half bodies are stronger than your full bodies, and also if you just want to draw a half body, it might be a good idea to just draw 2 half bodies, you know, for 1 full body or whatever. Compromise, be creative. That's what we're here for. I definitely didn't stick to this, and I gave some people some awful pieces because I could not handle full bodies at the time. And they could have gotten decent half bodies, cute, somewhat dynamic. No, they got my messy full bodies. Are you the kind of person who has like 5 pages of bookmarks and endless hit lists? Yeah, me too. There are so many characters out there that I really want to draw, but I know I realistically will never ever get the time to, right? And something I've realized over the years is that I was stretching myself thin trying to draw every single one of them. That moves into my next point, which is prioritize drawing characters that actually speak to you. Prune those hit lists and bookmarks. If you have multiple characters from the same person and you want to try to attack as many people as possible, pick one. It's hard, right? Both of them are really pretty. Pick one. Pick the one that you like the most. Pick the one that you think you can draw. Whatever criteria you use, pick it.
You are one person and you only have 30 days to complete the drawings that you want to do. If you want to have any hope of getting to the characters that actually satisfy you, you gotta prioritize them first. Consider a character's features relative to what type of attack you'll be making. If you're feeling uncolored sketches, ignore a character's colors and only consider their form. If you want to do headshots, ignore the other parts of the body. Do you still like and want to draw the design? If yes, go ahead. If no, cut. Slightly related tangent, a big mistake I made in my first few years of art fight was drawing pity attacks.
right? Quote unquote pity attacks, for people who hadn't been attacked much. Most were of characters I was ambivalent about and, turned out stiff and uninspired as a result. A small minority did turn out great, however, as I discovered I actually really liked the design.
I ended up regretting doing this because it made me feel like I was sinking time into an activity that benefited others more than me, and therefore I wouldn't suggest it. The exceptions to this would be major life events like the passing of a loved one or someone's birthday. And of course, I'm not saying that you shouldn't attack people who haven't been attacked much. Just attack them if you really like their character, not because you feel bad for them. I say this because that sort of attack did not fulfill me. If you personally find that fulfilling, go ahead.
Now on to drawing stuff.
Your character designs can limit you, especially if you're an inexperienced artist. This is why Art Fight is so good for practice. Impossible anatomy, poor or ugly clothing design, and oversimplification can make drawing characters more difficult. There are a variety of character references on Art Fight. If you're art fighting to improve, I suggest searching for references from highly skilled artists. This will help you tackle tricky body parts, like, hair, eyes, paws, whatever, and build up a visual library of aesthetics and understand how said body parts are supposed to look stylistically. This is more of a general thing, and you can totally skip this part, but I'm including it because this video is my selfish, hey look I improved thing. Style matters. You can build up a good foundation and still produce ugly or mediocre art because your style isn't visually appealing. For those stubborn people going, yeah, okay, sure. I've been drawing for 6 years. I was one of you. This is the first year I paid attention to my style. I'm probably, what am I, slideshowing my art from Art Fight right now, right? I'm sure you'll notice the improvement. As a follow-up, you should be picky with your references. Try and match the art style and body type to your style and characters if you're using art references, right? Or just try to match the body type and ethnicity to your characters if you're using photos. A small tip for clothing references: searching up an aesthetic plus an article of clothing often returns better results than just that article of clothing. As an example, grunge jacket male as opposed to jacket male. This is a more personal one.
Don't settle for realism, aka don't be like, if this looks like a cat/dog/human, that's good enough. As an artist, you're responsible for both capturing and enhancing what you see. A lot of style contributes to that, that's the whole point. Silhouettes, forms, especially clothes, are so much more than the shape of the base character, right? So for example, if you have a human body, your clothes add to your human body. I don't know how to describe this. It's like, unless you're wearing form-fitting clothes, the clothes themselves have a different silhouette. And I only realized this when I was watching Cruella and they just talked about silhouettes nonstop. Yeah, silhouettes matter, especially for clothing. Every material and aesthetic has its unique silhouette. The same thing goes for poses. Dynamic poses with strong lines of action benefit from stark, readable silhouettes. I ascribe to line reduction and simplification supremacy. I'm sorry, but if you believe more lines is better, I will never talk to you again. There is the door. I'm joking. But seriously, try to think about the 3D shapes your lines form and how they add to/detract from the overall readability. Zoom out or step back after finishing a section. Don't be afraid to erase lines. If you can draw it once, you can draw it again. A lot of these are personal, right? It's what I learned, not general tips, right? Something very weird that I struggled with was drawing hair. For a very long time, I did not understand how hair worked at all. I thought of it as giant balls of fluff at times. I thought of it as sheets of paper that hung down your head. That's not what hair is. Hair is dynamic. It comes in different forms, right? It has volume, and depending on how much volume it has, it gets fluffier, it gets shorter, yada yada, right? And now I like to think of bangs as a 3-dimensional, or like a quarter of a 3D sphere, and then curls are just cylinders with open centers and ribbon physics. That's it. That's the video, folks. If you liked it, go see my animatics. My Art Fight is my old handle, Fire Swallow Tanager. That's really hard to spell, so it'll be down in the description, buried under a million links somewhere. Yeah, have a good Art Fight. Why are you still here? Go attack some people! Go draw, you shithead! No, I'm joking. I love you. Bye.